Hey, and welcome back to By Myself But Not Alone. This is episode 32, Kansas City, Missouri. In this episode, you'll get a little bit of a break from my long-windedness because most of the Kansas City trip was a blur for me. Not because it's been almost 3 years. I would have said the same thing, and I did say the same thing 2 weeks after the tour was over. At the end of the last episode, we slept right up until checkout time. We got our stuff together, checked out of the hotel. We were feeling pretty good. But I didn't feel as good as I should have felt with all that extra sleep. I was getting increasingly worried at this point that the issues I'd been having with my inner ear could become a serious problem before the tour was over. I was doing everything I could to take it day by day and not focus too much on the end because anything can happen in a week. But I had come too far at this point, so there was quite a bit of internal stress building in regard to finishing 35 for 35, and it was getting pretty hard to ignore that. And then there was that damn suit I was going to have to put on in Grand Rapids for the Black Ticket, Black Tie event. The closer we got to the end, the sicker that made me as well. So between the exhaustion from the previous 25,000 miles on the road, my inner ear problems, the thought of what could possibly happen between that point and Grand Rapids, and the thought of having to wear that damn suit if I made it that far, you could say I was a bit of a mess. There's really only one thing on earth that would make everything okay in a time like this. You guessed it, McDonald's coffee. We headed out, we got our hookup, and we were on the road to Kansas City. This was going to be one of the shorter trips on the tour between cities. We should have been there in about 3 hours, but it took a little longer when I remembered that I had to find my postcards. We got lucky with the postcards. We weren't on the road too long, and we saw a gift shop that was attached to a Hardee's, so we pulled on in. I went in and got my postcards, and at this point on the trip, I got a really good laugh at Michelle. When I came out of the store, there was a bench, so I sat down. I thought I'd wait for her. And I waited, she never came out, and I waited, and she never came out, so I started looking around, and I noticed that she was behind me. She was over in the rock bed by the drive-thru where the speaker was. She was out there looking for rocks while people were ordering their food. I just started laughing. I walked over and said, "What the hell are you doing?" And she said, "Leave me alone, I'm looking for rocks." So I said, "I'm gonna be in the car filling out my postcards." And I just couldn't stop laughing. I'd never seen anything like it. She finally finished her search. She came over, she got in the car, and I was still laughing at her. I said, "I can't believe you're stealing rocks from Hardee's drive-thru." She didn't seem to understand what was so funny, and I really don't think she appreciated me laughing at her so hard. And all she said was, "I didn't steal anything." I said, yeah, let's see what you got in your pocket. And she pulled out 2 rocks and said, "I borrowed them." And I said, "Oh, you're gonna give them back." But anyway, I laughed at her all the way to Kansas City about that, and she never did understand what was so funny. We pulled over a couple more places that didn't have drive-thrus so she could look for rocks and I could have a smoke, stretch our legs. That was a very productive trip for her rock collection. It also gave me something to point the finger at. I didn't have to take the blame for a 6-hour trip that should have taken 3 hours. By the time we finally got settled into our hotel, I was completely exhausted. I just wasn't feeling any better than I was that morning. We got online to find out where the pre-party was going to be and who was going to be there, and it looked like it was going to start a little later than they had originally thought. So as bad as I was feeling, we ran to Walmart and we came back and we decided to call it an early night. When I woke up the next morning, she had been up for a while. She was ready to go and I was ready to die. I wasn't feeling any better. I was actually feeling quite a bit worse. So I told her I was going to run and dump her off at the arena, come back to the hotel, get ready, and then I'd meet her down there a little later in the day. So that's what we did. As it turned out, we were a little further away from the arena than I had realized. It was about 35 minutes from the hotel. And on the trip back, I realized what a stupid move that was. I added over an hour to the trip. On the return trip to the arena, I did not think I was going to make it through the day. I know I keep saying this, but it was getting progressively worse. By the time I made it back, I found a parking garage and I headed up to the line. I figured there was only one thing to do to distract myself, and that was to let instinct take over, so I got to yapping. I threw my questions at quite a few people that day. When I sat down to put the video together, there were more than I realized, so the extended interview section is going to neutralize the shortened version of my spoken section. I got to give away quite a few of the patches, and in many cases it was to people that I had already gotten their Black Ticket intro from on an earlier leg, and I just hadn't given them their patch yet. I did get some Black Ticket intros as well, and by the time they let us in, the day flew by a little quicker than I had anticipated that it would when I first got down there. When we got inside, it was quite a relief. I don't think I mentioned how cold it was that day. Not quite as cold as it had been in Wichita, but it was still a pretty damn cold day. We had a short wait inside, and then we made it down to the floor. When I got there, I started to do my walk around with the camera. I came across the guys from Trapped Under Ice in Minnesota, Rob, Shane, Bill, and Michelle. They're Met Club Local Chapter 508. They had their banner with them, so we took some pictures. After the pictures, I started talking to Michelle. That's Michelle Olson. Many of you know her. And I don't know how we got so deep in conversation so quickly. And it was pretty much the significance of the black ticket in a nutshell in a 10-minute conversation. Any of you that know Michelle know the level of optimism you deal with when you're talking to her. She has an aura of positivity about her. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I just want to say thank you. I know you're watching this, Michelle. That was a shot in the arm I needed that day. It really gave me a boost, and I felt better from that point moving forward. I'm going to spare you the details of the conversation we had because that's all going to come up again in episode 35, Grand Rapids. But again, Michelle, that was a pretty inspiring conversation, and I'm never going to forget that one. Shortly after that, I kind of scoped out where I was going to watch the show from. It was getting close to go time. I settled right behind a good group of girls and guys from the Outlaw Corn. That's another Met Club local. I looked over and I happened to be standing right next to black ticket holder Troy Marchant. He lives there in KC, and man, that guy knows a lot about music. So Troy, I just want to say I really enjoyed hanging out with you and watching the show with you. When Metallica came on, they brought it hard and heavy as they always do. It had been 11 years since Metallica had played Kansas City, so the record-breaking crowd of just under 20,000 people reciprocated the intensity when the band hit the stage. As the music goes, having seen, all the shows up until that point, I could say that it was a pretty standard set list with a couple deep cuts. But from Wichita to Kansas City, they actually swapped out 6 songs. Normally from city to city, they'll change out 3, maybe 4, sometimes 5. But in this case, it was 6 songs, so it was quite a different show than what we had seen in Wichita. When pick time rolled around, I just got one of the Kansas City picks that I needed, but my friend Amit hooked me up. He got a couple extra, and he hooked me up with one, so thanks for that, Amit. I think there might have been a group photo that night, but I wasn't in it. I found Michelle. We headed back to the parking garage and back to the hotel. And when we got there, I was just so relieved to have made it through the day. We had 7 days left. The final week of our black ticket adventure would start with our 2-day mid-leg break. Then we'd have a show in Louisville. 2 days after that, we'd be in Indiana. 2 days after that, we'd close the tour out for the 35th show in Grand Rapids, Michigan. But as for right now, I'd like to say once again, Michelle Olson. I have to specify so everybody doesn't think I'm talking about my crazy road dog, Michelle. But Michelle, thanks for that little conversation. That was a hell of a pick-me-up that night, and I'm never going to forget that. Troy, again, it was great hanging out with you at your hometown show, and one of these days we're going to do that road trip we speak of. To the crowd in Kansas City, I'd like to say you guys are nuts. You hosted one hell of a party. Thank you for that. To everyone else, I'd like to say, as always, thanks for watching. If you like what we have going on here, we would appreciate it greatly if you consider subscribing to the channel. Give us a like, a dislike, whatever the case may be. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Next stop, Louisville, Kentucky. We'll see you there. Until then, rock on. Who are you and where are you from?
My name is Brenda, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm James Dimitrov. I am from Kansas City. Home show today.
Derek Christensen from Omaha, Nebraska.
Hey, my name is Sam Gray from Dallas-Fort Worth.
My name is Amit. I'm from Kansas City. This is my son.
I'm Audie, and I'm from Kansas City also.
I'm James, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Me too.
I'm Jenna Lee. I'm from St. O'Fallon, Missouri.
Alrighty.
Cage.
How long have you been a Metallica fan?
Since 1985.
Whoa.
Not that I want to call myself old here, but yes, from
We're
the
all
start.
young here. Old school.
Yep.
Have you seen them before live?
Yes.
Do you count like everybody, or do you don't even?
The shows, the number of shows.
Yeah.
This will be 21.
Right on.
So.
Why do you keep coming back? Is the music that good, or is there more to it than that?
I think it was the music to start. I think a lot of bands that I've listened to over the years have kind of gone a different direction. This is the one band that's always stuck, and I've always liked them all the time. So that doesn't happen too often. But I think on this last tour, when I started meeting people and hanging out with people, it's a family. And I've had just an awesome time. So I think it's going to be sad when Grand Rapids hits and we all go back to normal lives for a while.
Since about 91, I think the first time I saw the Nothing Else Matters video. About 10 years old.
Starting young. Have you seen them before live?
I have. This is number 11 for me.
Oh, excellent. Why do you keep coming back? Is the music that good, or is there more to it than that?
Well, A, the music is that good. but there's a lot more to it. I feel more at home with all my Metallica family members, all these people over here, than I do anywhere else. This is where I feel understood. This is where I feel appreciated, and we've been out here for 8 hours now, and it feels like it's gone by so fast because we're just talking with everyone and having so much fun, and it's just, this is family. This is family, and I've seen it so many times on this tour and before. Everyone is so willing to help out, doing everything they can to take care of each other. I was talking earlier, this is the only line I've ever been in, Metallica lines, the only line I've ever been in where you don't have to fight for your spot. People, they're respectful, and I've just never seen a better caliber of fans.
Since 1987, 88 time frame. So.
Old school.
Oh, yes.
So have you seen them before live?
Yeah, this will be show 15.
Why do you keep coming back? Is the music that good, or is there more to it?
It's the music is definitely that good, and it's just the overall experience. I mean, it's more than just music. I got into live shows late because I would always listen to just CDs.
Uh-huh.
But after the first live show in 2000, it's like, yeah, I need to do this as much as possible. So,
for as long as I can remember, as soon as I got the first album I was able to buy, my parents let me get the Black Album, and I've just been hooked ever since.
Alrighty, so have you seen them before live?
Oh yeah, this is number 27.
All right.
All right.
I've been a Metallica fan since 1991, 92.
I've been a Metallica fan for 5 years now.
All right. Have you seen them before live?
Yeah, this will be my third show.
That's amazing. How old are you?
10.
10. Whoa. Good parents raise good kids.
This probably is like 18th to 20th metal show. So
Excellent. And how about you?
this will be my 35th show.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm pumped. This makes it really special because I'm with Adi.
I've been a Metallica fan for 7 years.
How about you?
Years, like at least a decade.
All righty. Have you seen them before live?
I have.
I have not.
Were you at the Rain Fest last year? At
I
Busch
was
Stadium?
in,
St. Louis?
Yeah, 2017, yep.
Can you narrow it down to a favorite song, or is that impossible?
No, well, again, I love all the songs, right? But Dyer's Eve is the one that is my song.
How about favorite album?
I have to go back to Ride the Lightning because that's kind of when I first started listening to them. So.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite band member, past or present?
I can't say that there's a true favorite. I mean, I think all the guys are great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, James leading the band, I think, has always been kind of number one. But
Your guy.
Yep.
Favorite song, Dyer's Eve. Absolutely.
That was the last person's favorite song.
That's awesome.
How about favorite album?
Favorite album? Oddly so, Saint Anger. So different. And I like listening to it a lot, especially when I've heard it live. It's just been amazing.
I'm a huge fan of the album myself. It takes a lot of criticism. So, how about favorite band member, past or present?
Boy, I'd have to go with James. We share the same name, but you can't have this band without the lyrics.
Disposable Heroes is always one that's top of the list.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's kind of a trick question.
It is. I mean, if I have to pick one, that's where that's my time. That's where I'm at right now. It's Disposable Heroes. If I have to pick one right now.
Alrighty, can you pick a favorite album?
It is Master of Puppets, and I'm going to throw in a very close second is actually Saint Anger. I'm in the minority that I love the Saint Anger album, but Master of Puppets is definitely the favorite.
I agree with you on Saint Anger. I love that album. Always have. And Puppets is the perfect album.
Exactly.
So, how about favorite band member, past or present?
I always really dug Jason Newsted, just because, especially after he chopped off his hair and looked a little bit, I'm like, look at that, see? I can be metal too, I can have short hair and look kind of clean cut and I'm metal too, but they're all great. I will tell you, Lars, I got a chance to talk to him back in 2001, 2002, and I recently did a meeting today that he's just so engaged, he's cool, outgoing. but they're all their personalities. So I think they're great as a whole. Yeah.
Yep, the collective Metallica is
Exactly.
always excellent.
That changes from day to day, but I really so lately I've been jamming Disposable Heroes nonstop. So that changes from day to day though. So tomorrow could be different.
How about album?
Also changes from day to day, but Ride the Lightning's always one that I really go to a lot as well.
Alrighty.
As far as a whole album goes, I love that one. So
Okay, how about last favorite? Favorite band member, past or present?
favorite band member, past or present. So for right now, I'm with Lars. When I met him, he was just like the nicest guy in the world. Totally opposite of what you hear just from people, but as soon as you meet him, you're like, oh my, he's the best guy ever. And I'm gonna choose a past too because I can, right? I'm gonna go with Newstead because he's insane live performance and energy. He was just on another level, and every time I go back and watch videos of him, he's just crazy, and I love that guy so much. So
Yes, I'm with you on that.
yeah.
I'd say wherever I remember.
That's a good one.
So I'm gonna tell a little story. We were in the car the other day on Friday, last Friday, and I said, "Hey, can you play a song?" And he put "Fight Fire with Fire." So I'm gonna go with that one.
There you go. How about what's your favorite album?
Master of Puppets.
The perfect album. This is a smart kid you have here. What's your favorite?
I would say Master.
Puppets.
Yeah. I consider a favorite album the one I don't have to skip songs.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Alrighty. How about favorite band member? Is one of the guys your favorite?
Lars.
Lars. Yeah, I really like Lars too.
Yeah.
How about you? James. Oh, James.
I'd say Lars.
Nothing else matters. I love that song.
Is that
Absolutely.
the one that we were going to play at their wedding?
Yep.
All right. Is that your favorite song too?
Sure. I like a lot of his favorite songs. So.
How about favorite
I
album?
really like that. That would be my favorite one.
Justice for All.
You have a favorite album?
She's gonna say Justice for All too.
There you go. How about favorite band member, past or present?
I love James Atfield.
I like
He's the
drummers.
Lars. There you go.
Yeah.
We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans. Do you mind if I ask you what you do for a living?
I actually am a project manager in the IT business for a bank.
Okay. I don't think I've had one of them yet.
I'm an IT manager. I actually manage essentially what's called a SRE team. I deploy software
Okay,
for a
cool.
large government company.
I'm in IT, so as a programmer analyst.
I actually work in Salesforce. So if you're a Metallica fan, you should know what Salesforce is because they played it twice. The convention out there in San Francisco. So yeah, I work with Salesforce.
Yeah, I'm an auto assembly worker in the military.
All right.
I'm a nurse.
All right. What do you think about Brewer? What did you think when you first heard that, before you saw him, and now that you've seen him, what do you think about what he's been doing?
So I think from the Madison show, he's come a long way. I think they kind of didn't know what he was doing, right? And I think as the concerts went on, I think he's got a great act.
So you happy with it?
Yes.
As opposed to another band, say? A lot of people will say, well, I'd like to see another band.
I don't know. I mean, the bands are nice, but I think this works in this tour. So
So I've been a fan of Brewer since the MTV Icon thing back when he did it in
Okay.
03-ish, something like that. I think Brewer's hilarious. I used to watch, or not watch, but I used to listen to him on like Raw Dog Comedy on Sirius XM. And I think he's been knocking it out of the park. He's been getting better and better as we've seen, as the tour's progressed. The show's been more fun. The opening act is just freaking awesome, honestly.
All right.
I love Jim. I love his comedy. I love the fact that, I love how he imitates Ozzy. His Ozzy impression is the
Nobody
best.
does Ozzy like Jim.
Cling, 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 cling. Yeah.
How about Joe?
Joe is really cool too. Thankfully, because of the Black Ticket, I've had the chance to kind of talk to both of them and hang out with them. And they've just been the most amazing people. They're so down to earth. It's like we've known them for years, and you don't feel like you're talking to someone famous. You feel like you're talking to friends.
You couldn't have said that better.
It wasn't. I could tell you straight up. He's actually had an impact because his "And Laughter for All" We listened to that, and my daughter and I actually downloaded that album of his and listened to it traveling to soccer games. So it's a funny bit, and so of the comedians, I like it. I didn't know what I thought at first of a comedian before, but it flows and it goes, because there's been opening bands that I sat through or stood through actually in GA, wasn't a fan of. So it's as good as anything, and it's fun. So it keeps it going. So yep,
I loved it because I had seen him live before, just in his stand-up routine, and I knew that he was a massive Metallica fan. So I'm like, this is probably who better to get up there and do a little bit of comedy and a little bit of just having fun. And then after seeing it, he's perfected that. Him and Sip both have perfected it, and it's a really good time, and I think it's great.
I like it.
You like the idea?
He's awesome. And Adi's going to meet him tonight, and it's going to be cool. Jim and I, over the last few shows, we've become buddy-buddy, and it's kind of cool that, he knows who I am, and I've talked to him about Adi, so it makes it extra special.
Oh, is there an open? We didn't think there was
Yeah, we didn't
one.
know there was one.
Jim Brewer, the comedian?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know
Cool.
much about him. So.
Okay, so open-minded comedian for a metal act.
I think it's a great idea.
You have one person that you solely credit with saying, check this out, turning you on to the band, or how did you come about being a Metallica fan?
I'm not quite sure exactly how, but I do remember the radio station handing out the glow-in-the-dark Fade to Black album.
I've got one.
I've got one too. So
Did you win it off the radio?
I don't remember how
Don't
we
remember.
got it. So me and my sister were big fans.
Uh-huh.
So I've got a younger sister, and we have the album, and that kind of started the whole thing. And we saw them for the first time April 6, 1986.
Would you consider that one of your most prized possessions, the glow disc?
No, my most prized possession is my signed Ride the Lightning album with all 4 original members and meeting Cliff Burton. So.
Yep, I got to see him play. I never got to meet him.
Yeah.
That in and of itself was a thrill. But
That
I'm preaching to the choir. You know that.
That's been on my wall all these years. So.
Do you have one person in your life that you credit with turning you on to the band in the first place, or how did you come about being a fan? You told us you saw the video, but was that on someone's recommendation?
Yeah, it's going to be my sister and my brother-in-law. She was the Bon Jovi, Skid Row, the rock fan, going to the concerts and stuff like that. She had kind of told me when I was younger about this band called Pantera and this band called Megadeth and of course this band called Metallica.
She had an older sister who was very cool.
Yeah, and I used to think, oh, they're so scary. I used to watch that video, Nothing Else Matters, and think, those Metallica guys are scary, but their music is cool.
I do, yes. So I have to give credit to my cousin. His name is Jason. He was the one that turned me on to Metallica. At first, I wasn't real sure, but then as soon as I dug a little deeper, I was hooked ever since. So.
Who turned you on to Metallica in the first place?
My next door neighbor.
Alrighty.
I was listening to Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and James Hetfield knows this story, but I met him in 2004. I told him. I was listening to Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, The Wild Side, and he said, "What the fuck are you listening to? Check this out." He gave me the Black Album. The rest is history.
Right on. And I hope we know your answer already, but go ahead and say it. Who turned you on to Metallica?
My dad.
Excellent. One more thing and I'll leave you alone. If the band members themselves should happen to see this at some point in the future, do you have a message for any or all of them?
I think they've been the guys that really have kind of gotten me through life, right? It's always been something I've always attributed myself. Great music, great times, great friends. So it's not just a band, it's kind of been through my whole life experience.
If the band members themselves should happen to see this video at any point in the future, do you have a message for any or all of them?
I do have a message for all of them. I wanna thank them. Metallica's music has been very important to me. I credit a lot of my success in my life to Metallica. Lots of people will say Metallica kept me away from drugs, kept me away from doing bad stuff. It's not like that for me. Metallica was kind of something that helped me focus, and it helped me in school, and it helped me get better grades and go to college. And so, I owe my career, my success to Metallica, and to everything they managed to do, again, with the lyrics and the music, and just how it helped me want to be better and feel like I'm understood and feel like I'm not alone in this world. And of course, the amazing, amazing family that I have now.
Final question, I'll leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me ask you this one
Yeah.
first. Tell us a little bit about your shirt.
Oh, the shirt? Outlaw Corn. Jameson Kalanta came up with the name for our chapter,
Yep.
and this is the current artwork. Do you remember the limited edition Scary Guy shirts there?
Sure.
Okay, so he did James Doak and Linda helped him come up with the artwork, and
Did he come up with a name?
Jameson, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
came up with the name. As far as
That's
I know.
one of my
So,
favorite. It's my favorite
and
name.
we're into the non-traditional metal colors,
Yes.
which I love. So, yep, that's
Final thing, and I'll leave you alone.
absolutely.
My camera's shaking. It's a little cold. If the band members themselves should happen to see this at any point,
Yeah.
do you have a message for any or all of them?
It's just I think the biggest thing you'd ever say is just thank you for all the time, energy, effort, everything that they put into it and give to us. They just they go above and beyond. I don't think, even people that I know that aren't necessarily Metallica fans, they see what I get to do and this or that, and just can't believe that a band, any band, especially one of that size, does so much for their fans. And that's really the big thing, is just to say thanks for everything over the past 30 years of, it makes life fun, it makes life better. So, yeah.
Final question, I'll leave you alone.
All right.
If the band members themselves should happen to see this,
Yeah.
do you have a personal message for any or all of them?
To all of them, just, I'm sure a lot of people say this, but thank you for everything that you do. Music keeps us going, and don't ever stop, please.
If the band members themselves should happen to see this, do you have a personal message for them? We're going to go with you first.
I honestly don't know. Well, I tell them that I really like their band and I would like to meet them.
Oh, that's a good personal message. Okay.
I probably said this before. Thank you for the music. Thank you for a blessing. You enrich my life every day.
If the band should happen to see this at any point in the future, do you have a message for them?
Hey, I want to tell Metallica, James Hetfield, everything they've ever been through and what they've experienced. You guys have touched the world. You've touched me personally as a veteran. When I served in Iraq, you really inspired me to push through my hard times in life. And I can't say more than that. Like, every time I've ever felt something that's horrible, those guys have really, really hit the ticket.
I would
And
love
permit me to meet all my obstacles and goals in life. So
you're
that's
giving
why
them a
I'm a
thank
hard.
you.
Yeah, that's a big thank you.
Alrighty.
Badass, man.
and I
That's
would say, can we have a group picture?
Metallica family of Kansas City, are you with us?